Hello, everyone. I hope you hear me well despite my fading voice. This presentation and the whole session afterwards is about thinking forward. But you can't think forward and plan for the future unless you look back and reflect on the lessons learned. So today I'd like to start with looking back at how culture and creative work together. So this relationship is a rather new relationship, and its beginning was marked with a lot of questions and uncertainty. For the cultural institutions, this meant that we didn't have much knowledge about the creative industries, who they are, what they need, and how they behave. For creative professionals, this translated more into the lack of awareness about the potential of digital cultural content for their creative projects. So therefore, we started our experimentation phase. We, and here I mean not only Europeana, but cultural institutions across Europe, organized various hackathons on a variety of themes and participated in different creative reuse projects. Here you can see a few examples, including the current Europeana space project. These hackathons resulted in numerous prototypes and also in some really successful products and services. So here we are now in 2015, and we as cultural institutions have much better understanding of the creative industries, and we work successfully with some creative communities. The creative professionals also show increased interest and usage of cultural content. They reach out to us, they use the content, and they create really nice stuff. But we are facing also a few challenges. And looking at both sides of this love equation, for the cultural sector, this means that we found out, for instance, that creative industries are quite broad term. It spans over sectors. And it's really difficult to reach equally successfully to all these sectors. And maybe it's not necessary to reach equally to all the sectors. But this is something we should dig more and find out more about these audiences. Also, we did a lot of projects and hackathons. Various partners across Europe participated in projects and hackathons. But these are more or less solo action. And despite the fact that this is normal for this experimentation phase, it's now time to move on into a phase of consolidation of effort. This fragmented approach also resulted in a rather limited reach to the creative audiences and in some cases of duplication of effort. So this is on our side of the equation. For the creative professionals, there are some challenges related to resources and process. So the pains they voiced most loudly in my conversation with my colleagues from the reuse team are that they need high quality and open license data. They need to access this data fast and easy without much effort. In this case, they created a prototype and want to move to the next stage. They also lack expertise, being product development expertise or business development expertise. And at the final stage, they often lack the finances. Even if they have the greatest idea, they don't have the financial resources to move forward. So this is now, but we want to look ahead and how we can really strengthen the bond between the culture and creatives and encourage the reuse. So in my opinion, the most successful or logical way to go ahead is to address the pains of our target user and adjust the offer so that we are really more attractive to them. So that's what I'll do in the next minutes. I'll walk through all these pains of our target groups and suggest some solutions. Starting with data quality, because data quality is really crucial. Without good content, there is no creative reuse, as we found out in our work as well. So we at Europeana are quite aware of this and have been continuously working with data providers to improve quality. As you might be aware, in the beginning of this month, we released the Europeana Publishing Framework, which sets out 4 tiers of collaboration between Europeana and data providers in terms of creative reuse. The main message is that the more the content provider gives to us, the high quality of the data, the more he or she receives back in terms of creative reuse benefits. To dig a bit deeper and to show a bit more about the publishing framework, here are the 4 tiers. And in the first column, you see what a content provider would want users to do with his or her collection and what Europeana can do for them. The next few columns are about metadata elements, rights, a direct link to the object, and the last one is about the creative reuse benefits. So let's start with the first one. This is the case where the content provider wants the user just to find their collection. So Europeana serves as a search engine. In this case, there is no direct link to the digital object, and the rights can be any right under Europeana rights licensing framework. In this case, this collection will be found on Europeana Collections portal. This is actually the new name of the Europeana portal to be launched next week. But we won't push the content on our marketing channels. We won't do much marketing around that. It gets more interesting with the tier 2, where the content provider wants people not only to find, but to view the content. So Europeana is serving as a showcase. Here we have a requirement for higher resolution images, for instance, more than 800 pixels, as well direct link to the digital object. And in this case, the content will be showcased not only on the Europeana Collections site, but also on our thematic collection site. For now, this will be music and art history, but there will be more to come. Tier 3 and 4 are really the strongest in terms of reuse benefits. This is also the case where the data providers give or submit to Europeana really high quality data. In terms of Tier 3, this is more for a non-commercial reuse, whereas in Tier 4, it also allows for commercial reuse. So for instance, in Tier 4, the content can be pushed to commercial providers for commercial apps and services and to open platforms like Wikipedia. So much about the data quality. Let's move to the data access, because people want also to find this content. Based on the Europeana publishing framework, we'll announce more extended search capabilities on the Europeana Collection website. As you'd see next week, we'll introduce new filters for the creatives so that they can find easier the content. These filters can be from file orientation, portrait or landscape, to the file size, or even colors. Creatives can also go to Europeana Labs website, where they can browse through a thematic and openly licensed collections. Currently, we have more than 80 datasets, which gives access to more than 1 million open licensed media files. We also give access to free APIs, so that developers and designers and anyone with creative ideas can go and use this API for whatever creative idea they want to develop further. Our third pane, the expertise. So in the journey from idea to market-ready product, as mentioned, the creative experience the lack of expertise. And we, as cultural sector, are not the one having this expertise in many cases. We are not the user experience designers, or we are not the product development designers, but we can team up with partners with this relevant expertise. And to give you an example with Europeana, we do that with the Spanish company Platonique, and we use the co-creation methodology in many workshops with the creative professionals. It turned out this methodology is quite popular because it really gives an easy and fun way to test various product development scenarios and to decide really fast on the most feasible one. Finally, the funding. Initially at Europeana, we thought it's a great idea to come up with the prototypes we have to some investors and pitch together with the authors, of course, this idea. But this access to investors is not easy. So we looked for alternative solution, and we thought crowdfunding could be a really good one. I should be honest and say that crowdfunding is not the solution for everything. I mean, it works for some application services, for other projects it doesn't. But it's a viable option because it gives you first financial resources, and secondly, if it's successful, it helps in your way to securing further funding, because investors see it as a really positive sign if you have secured some funding before that from crowdfunding campaigns. And finally, I'd like to talk a bit more about community. And here I mean not the creative community themselves, but how we approach this community. We have done a lot so far in various areas, but I think we should consolidate and focus more. We should focus in terms of target audiences, in the sense that we should deepen our focus and look for those groups of the creative professional which are most suitable to work with and where we could have most impact. Focus in terms of resources, that we have to consolidate our efforts and build upon each other's resources. And the other strategy I would suggest is to share, as we do today. Share our achievements, share our insights about the audiences, share our best practices and lessons learned, so that we move faster. And we all agree with the thought of Cicero, and we look back at the present days with pleasant smile and amusement. Thank you.